our next session, we have an interesting one. We have our expert, Doruk Mutlu, who's Deputy CEO of Evam, and he's here to talk about, is it the time for real-time contextual marketing today? Over to you, Doruk.
Thank you, Yolanda. I think today has already been an interesting day with the other sessions, and I'm excited to be presenting. So there's a lot of discussion, and this discussion has been going on for many years, which is real-time contextual marketing. And it's always like, there's always a reason why the time isn't today. It's a technological reason, it's a resource reason, and it's some other reason. But I want to explain why the time is today and why every large enterprise, every company needs to really start thinking about this now. So before I get into the details of the session, I just want to present a few slides about Evam. So Evam is a company that primarily works with financial services and telecom companies in helping them engage with their customers. We touch day-to-day lives of about 500 million end users around the world. Our customers' portfolio includes many major telecom and banking players in many different geographies. We've done this across the world, helping a lot of companies get to this level. Now, before I go into why real-time marketing is important, I want to share another term with you, which is marketing for the post-digital companies, or marketing for the post-digital consumer. So in order to explain what I mean by this and why all of this is important is going to come in a few slides. So the post-digital, we are in the post-digital era today. The post-digital era is an era that, according to a lot of analysts in the market, like the McKinsey's, Gartner's, Accenture, etc., it started a couple years ago. So starting in the late 2010s, like so around 2018, 19, it's no longer enough to just have a digital outlet. It's no longer enough to have a website and a mobile app. It's the minimum that companies need to do in order to be able to do business. The companies of today, in order to compete, they need to meet an entirely new set of expectations from their customers and their business partners. So how do you get loyal and engaged customers in the post-digital era? You have a lot of different products like credit cards, phone lines, etc., but they're all like each other. And when you look at the services part, again, you can get more or less the same service for any company. Any company that doesn't create a personal connection with their own customers will be commoditized. And if they're commoditized, then their services will be easily replaceable. We see the best examples of building loyal customers in the digital native companies like Amazon, Netflix, Spotify, Facebook, and all the other digital natives. They help make these personal connections by interacting with each customer separately at the moment that they need to be communicated. What these companies do differently is they capture events in real time, they generate insights from this, they take this action in real time and listen to all the streaming customer data. So by doing this, they can do contextual marketing and detailed customer journey design. So what happened is that as everyone became digital, and especially with COVID, now the digital channel is more important than ever. People just want to have these kinds of experiences with their banks, with their telcos, it doesn't matter if the company is digital or not, but they are fed up with traditional database marketing where they get targeted and it's not really about them. So they want the marketing to be about the things they do. And the one-off interactions that used to be the main pillar of marketing are now turning into customer journeys. What we mean by that is instead of you targeting a client at, let's say, the perfect time for that client, 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, and then just stopping there, you need to listen to what that client says, and you need to respond to it, and you need to stay in dialogue with your customers. And the purely financial goals need to be now about customer experience. And in order to be able to do all of this, human decision-making by itself isn't enough. You need to have algorithmic decision-making in place where algorithms and the plans and journeys that you've designed take automatically these decisions and make these engagements with your customers. And you need to go from getting your data from a single data source or a limited number of data sources. But you need to turn yourself into a company that gets data from every single source that's available to you. A banking customer doesn't care that the call center is a different system than the mobile site they were interacting with, or that it's separate from the credit card processing system. So if they have a problem, they want the bank to be aware whether they go into the branch, into the call center, or into another channel. So by doing all of this, we need to switch from a segment of 1 million, from a segment of 200,000, 10,000, or even a segment of 10 to really a segment of 1 when we're doing our marketing. Once the companies can figure out how to do everything on the right-hand side, then they will be able to do real-time contextual marketing. Now, given the technology stacks and given the complexity of these organizations that I was talking about, like telcos, banks, and organizations with a lot of legacy systems, this sounds really challenging. Just to give you an idea of like what happens in a bank is that there's no it's not just about the mobile site and a website, but you have your core banking, your things going on in your branches, insurance agents, compliance systems, ATM, POS machines, call center, and the list of systems goes on. Just to give you an example from another industry like the telecom, again, here you have all these different channels, which are your touch points of your customers. And if I present this slide as a, let's say, management consultant to a telecom executive, they will say, this will take us years, and there's many reasons why it can't be done so easily. So there's always a reason saying, okay, big tech companies have it easy because they just built their technology from the ground up, but our technology is complicated. But if you can achieve this, regardless of industry, you get 3 to 10 times better results. We've seen this many times over and over again in our customers, in telecom, in banking, in retail, and also in some customers that weren't necessarily using our product. If they were able to achieve this real-time contextual segment of one type of engagement, the numbers drastically shot up. The numbers that they were getting back from their marketing went up 5-fold, 3-fold. So how companies need to do this transformation is by using journeys. So these journeys help unlock customer and business value. And the way to start with the journeys is to ask the right questions. So you need to be able to ask yourself, okay, who are my actors? So if I'm talking about a journey, somebody needs to go through this journey as an actor. So let's say we're talking about the customer, and then you need to have a focus, like a purpose here, which is either accomplishing a desired outcome and preventing an undesirable outcome. And then you need to have a hypothesis. Okay, so how do I think my customers buy a product? So you can get this by analyzing your customers from a system. And then finally, you need an environment where you can quickly do different iterations, A/B tests, visualize outcomes, use AI models and other machine learning approaches in order to understand your customers better and in order to target them better. These journeys are everywhere in the customer lifecycle. It starts with awareness and acquisition of customers. They exist everywhere in the onboarding and activation stage. Again, once you move into upselling and cross-selling to your customers, again, we're talking about journeys. And when your customer's about to churn, the retention engagement is also a journey. And then finally, when you lose a customer, again, to win that customer back is a journey. A journey is different than a campaign in the sense that it's not a one-shot thing where you're targeting hundreds of thousands of customers, but it's really individualized about that person when that person wants to interact with you, getting in touch with them and telling them the perfect thing they need. So just to give you an idea about a journey, like, and how it can be constructed, let's say you are planning a onboarding journey for one of your customers. You start with the actor. So who is the actor here? The new bank customer that just signed up for a new product, let's say, has their credit card in hand. And then you should have a purpose for this journey. okay, how can I increase the uptake of online channels and introduce new products to these customers? And then we start with the hypothesis, and then we start doing the iteration where we build the base journey, optimize the key interaction points, create these different incentives, and engage these if there's any unresponsive customers throughout this journey through the different channels. What the journey isn't really important, but it's the idea of thinking in these journeys, building these hypotheses, and having a product that will allow you to quickly go from the first test to the second test to the third test, having a product that has a very quick time to market in a matter of days. So like when you think of a scenario like this, you should be able to bring it to life in a matter of days, and then make every iteration again in a couple of days, in weeks, etc. Then you can really start innovate on these journeys and figure out what your customers really want. At Evam Marketing Hub, we give our customers the tools to do this. So the core components of the Evam Marketing Hub are the events, actions, which come together to help you build the scenarios. The events and actions are quite varied. So an event can be anything that's happening across your systems, such as your customers doing their card transactions, logging into the websites, opening the mobile app, calling your call centers. And our action capabilities are quite advanced. We have our own push SDK, web SDK, and also we can connect to all of the client systems. And by building catalogs of events and actions for our clients, we give them the freedom to build any scenario they want. That's in real time, that's really individualized to their customers, and that helps them achieve their desired outcomes, target these customers with the right messages, and fulfill the offers once the customers accepted these offers. When we're doing this, we take a visual approach. So we have this visual journey designer, where once you design a journey with a few clicks, you can take this journey live and make the live running multi-step campaign with which you're engaging your customers. So I've spoken a little bit about the product. I didn't want this to just be about the product. So I wanted it to be about your journey to real-time contextual engagement. Having said everything in this presentation, I can guarantee you that it will create a lot of value for you. But everybody knows this, but everybody has questions about these topics that you see on this slide. So how long is it going to take? How much is it going to cost me? Do I have the technological capability? Do I have the resources to do this? And how big, how complex of a project is this going to be? So the typical solutions in the market will take more than a year in order to do this conversion. Most of the time in the telcos or banks that I was talking about, it will typically cost a minimum of millions of dollars. The technology is usually not from a single vendor, it's from multiple vendors, and usually customers need to combine open source technologies with this. This requires a lot of technical resources and a lot of business resources, and these resources may not be easy to find. So that's another challenge. So it becomes a major transformation project. What I want to say is that as Evam, we've been doing this for more than 5 years. It's these projects, when you can use the Evam technology, are just multi-week or multi-month projects. So our typical projects go live in a matter of 2 months or so. Instead of millions of dollars with most of our clients, we talk about budgets of tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. The technology is already unified and proven in the banking and telco domains. And the number of resources required for such a project is usually quite limited. And instead of major transformation, we make sure that these projects are agile and incremental projects where customers can start with some of the hypotheses they have, they can start taking them live, and they can keep increasing the footprint of how they're engaging with their customers. So the future is digital, but the future is beyond digital. It's the post-digital era where every channel needs to be treated like a digital interaction. We want to help companies in many sectors like banking, telco, and various other sectors to help build these next generation interactions and next generation customer engagements together. Please do reach out to us after this session. You can reach out to me directly or to our marketing manager, and we would be more than happy to show you how Evam can help you address your own business problems and how it can help you make this transformation into real-time contextual engagement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doruk. I think that I really like the part about the segment of one, because I think all customers want to be treated as individuals, right? And it's up to brands now to bring that contextual, individualized journey to a customer who also wants to feel like a person holistically. So thank you so much for that. Right. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
It was a pleasure. And thank you for arranging the whole event and getting everybody together. It was a pleasure to present.